Hello there, dear viewer. Welcome to the build. This time we have the Druid. But Billy, I hear you say, you have done a Druid already. Yes, but I was unaware at the time of the sheer awesomeness of the Triumvirate mod, which has some amazing Druid-themed spells. That old Druid was annoying altogether, it felt more like a generic elementalist mage than a Druid, so let's instead make a proper Druid that would feel like a generic Disney princess. Yes, she can talk to animals, she has a cute bunny rabbit as a pet, she can summon a little raven or a leopard to her aid. At some point, she will inevitably break into a song about love and how she is misunderstood. But more seriously, well, slightly, this druid is a rather weird summoner with some insane crowd control. She can summon a bird that enhances her health regeneration. That is an anniversary edition spell called Pride of Hirstang. She combines it with a lot of other health regeneration buffs, like the water totem spell from Triumvirate, or potions, so it's a summoner that is rather hard to take down. She also has an option of using all 3 totem spells from Triumvirate at once. So water totem that heals you over time if you are close to it, tree totem that deals damage over time to enemies, and the earth totem that every few seconds makes a shockwave that throws enemies to the ground. Each totem takes up a summon slot, but we will reach the summoning limit of 3 thanks to the Evenstar ritual stone and of course the conjuration perk. This combo of all 3 totem spells can win most battles for you, requiring very little effort. But of course, 3 bear summons or the combo of totems and bears is also a neat idea. On top of those 3 allies, we can also use call spells from Triumvirate, which are concentration summoning spells and they don't count against the summon limit. So you can have, for example, 2 agile snow leopards or 2 poisonous snakes fighting for you while you concentrate near your insane totem clump. But maybe that's not enough, huh? Maybe we want more animals to join us. Well, we can also use the Speak with Animals perk from Vokrii to permanently recruit an animal to our side and later give them a permanent buff to health, attack damage, and movement speed with the Beast Master perk. Of course, we can also have an animal follower from the vanilla game, Miko in my case. These 2 fellows will heal near water totems as much as you do. There is a bunny rabbit from the Pets of Skyrim creation in the team too. He is mostly useless, but why be useful when you can be cute? There is some rather powerful crowd control involved. Of course, we can use the perfectly balanced paralysis rune available in Anniversary Edition. With the 1 Summermyst enchantment, we can place runes and our summons wherever we want. But for some extra druid vibes, we can also use Fissure, a Triumvirate spell which creates a rock formation in front of you, knocking down everything in its path, while also blocking the way, at times therefore giving you the time to cast many self-targeting spell buffs, like a Cloak spell or Troll's Blood or Visions of Healing. Troll's Blood grants you another sizable boon to health regeneration. Visions of Healing absorbs health from a random enemy. This is all perfectly balanced. Also, the Impenetrable Grove creates a wall of plant life. It looks good and can also grant you the time for buffing and summoning as needed. And Bramble Growth is a terrain spell like the vanilla wall spells, except it deals poison and bleed damage that lingers even after the enemy leaves the affected zone, and if they die from that damage, there will be a good berry in their inventory. Good berry is a neat little consumable, healing 200 points of health and magicka. The combination of Whirlwind, Cloak, Fissure and shockwaves of the tree totem means that all enemies in a huge radius are constantly being sent flying and then clumsily trying to stand up, while various DOT effects chip away their health bars. This is not enough flying for me yet. Thanks to the mod I discovered when making my Gandalf, we have a staff that can be used like a shield for bashing and blocking, and most importantly for for a shield charge, so we can tackle and trample enemies in yet another way. A power play I used frequently is to cast a Whirlwind Cloak, get all 3 totems out, and then shield charge anyone still standing. Once everyone is on the ground, I would jump back to my totem island. Yes, this girl also uses the rollback enchantment from Summermyst, which teleports you basically to a place you were at 4 seconds ago if you jump with a weapon or a spell drone. So okay, our totems deal damage, knock enemies, and you charge ahead to knock out everyone, and then you teleport back to your totems. If this is still not enough to win you a fight, why not use some other perfectly balanced Anniversary Edition spells like the Unbounded Storms, which just generates lightning strikes hitting random enemies and generates a lightning cloak around you as long as you concentrate on that spell. A lightning cloak, I might add, that stacks with your Whirlwind Cloak. This is perfectly okay. Everything is fine, game. It's all okay. Shh. Yes, Whirlwind Cloak plus Unbounded Storms is a satanic combo that should have never been conceived. It sends enemies away, deals significant damage over time, and then extra damage at random from lightning strikes. When fighting outdoors, why not combine those lightning strikes with a Storm Call shout? Why not? Okay, we get it, Belly. You need to compensate for something. Jeez, are you done with the overpowered combos?
What, you wanted more?
No, I'm not actually. This is a proper druid, so she needs to be able to shapeshift. We are a werebear too.
Remember way back you mentioned a bear? Give me the bear!
Thanks to a neat mod called Growl, we can obtain the beast blood without joining the companions and choose whether we want to be a werewolf or a werebear. It's mostly a cosmetic difference. I went with a bear. Of course, Odin and Triumvirate mods both have spells enhancing your power attacks. It is advised to cast Stave of Ferocity and Shocking Strikes before assuming your bear form. Stave of Ferocity will apply weakness to magic and reduce armor of the targets of your power attacks, while Shocking Strikes, of course, deal shock damage on power attacks. Troll's Blood and Whirlwind Cloak can also be used before turning into a bear, along with the Dragon Aspect Shard, for example, if you still feel like you are not powerful enough. And if you would like to do some close combat in your human form, you totally can, especially after you have unlocked the Power Bash perk in block. I use Shocking Strikes to deal shock damage when I bash with my staff, and Storm Hand spell in my right hand to deal significant shock damage to enemies in melee range. It's a weird kind of mage that feels like a warrior combat style, yes. Okay, so we do need a few mods to keep all of this going. Evenstar for the Ritual Stone, increasing the summon limit. Morningstar for a more useful Wood Elf power, allowing you to befriend any animal and make it fight for you at a cost of stamina and magicka. Fulcimentum for the glorious Shield Staff. Summermyst for the rollback, and of course for the Amplify Distraction and Amplify Alteration effects. Vokrii for yet another way to recruit an animal as a permanent follower. Not exactly a follower, as it doesn't count against the follower limit. It's a new thing altogether. Vokrii is also useful for the alteration perks, obviously, and for a few other little curiosities here and there. Triumvirate and Odin spells are used almost to the exclusion of the vanilla spells. From vanilla we mostly use the perfectly balanced Anniversary Edition spells. And lastly, Growl, a nice werebeast overhaul. It allows us to become a werebear and has a few new werebeast perks, some of which are going to be rather helpful, because I really insisted on wearing a wedding wreath at all times, because you know, flowers are cute and spring and nature and yada yada, and it cannot be enchanted at all. I also used Cloaks and Capes mod to give myself an extra item slot for enchantments. The race of choice is a Wood Elf, a Morningstar Wood Elf. It is the cleanest way to befriend animals from the very beginning of the game before any shouts or illusion spells are obtained. The Standing Stone, as mentioned, is the ritual from Evenstar for an extra summoning slot. The attributes ratio is a little bit of a headache, but overall it should be something like 3 points of magicka for every 2 points of health for 1 in stamina. You only use stamina for shield bashes and shield charge, so the total value of 200 should be enough there. You also need a lot of it in the bear form, but Growl has you covered on that. Upon transforming into the beast, your magicka will be converted into health and stamina. Given the rather insane value of health regeneration you are going to reach, you can stop investing in health once you have it around 250. The skills to perk are Conjuration, Restoration, Alteration, Destruction, Block, Speech, Enchanting and Alchemy. Jeez. In Conjuration we totally want to reach Twin Souls with as few perk points as possible, so only 1 rank of Oblivion Stone was unlocked on the way to Twin Souls. Oblivion Stone is fine, it improves magic resistance and armor of your summoned creatures, but the second rank would force you to play beyond level 50, which of course is inconceivable and horrible. If you don't mind that, of course, take both ranks of Oblivion Stone. In Destruction we simply take all shock perks, with the crackling sphere granting you a chance to lift people into the air with any shock spell. So with shocking strikes you can levitate people with power bashes and power attacks even in your bear form. In Restoration we only grab both ranks of Vigilant Ward and both of Inner Light. Inspire would be nice too, to passively heal your animals and friends, but again I can't squeeze all the good perks in 50 levels or less. Inner Light grants extra magicka regeneration, which is going to be invaluable early to mid-game. All regenerations are going to be something to look after, so take Inner Light as soon as possible. Vigilant Ward makes our ward spells reduce incoming physical damage. This works with the ward granted by the shield staff of resonance we carry. It brings up a ward as long as you block with it, so with elemental protection, block perk and magic resistance coming from the alteration perk and from the staff itself, raising block will grant you a lot of magic and physical protection at the same time. Speaking of protection, here are the alteration perks. Probably the least surprising choice of perks in history. Obviously all the ranks of mage armor and magic resistance, Okato's preparation to cast the best armor spell you know for free at the start of each combat, stability to make those armor spells last for longer because some fights, especially early to mid game, can drag on, and stability also extends some other nice effects like Stave of Ferocity. Thanks to Okato's preparation, your Dragonhide spell, reducing incoming physical damage by 80%, will trigger even if you are in your beast form. Some other spells will remain active if you cast them before becoming a bear, so you can really buff your bear form to a rather terrifying degree. Then Sorcerer's Robes to improve the efficiency of all our spells, including the damage of destruction spells and the health regeneration of Troll's Blood, for example, and both ranks of Alter Self for sure. The first rank for extra magicka, the second for fire and shock resistance. In Growl you are actually weaker to fire as a werebeast. Alter Self will offset that weakness. In block we take the middle branch up to and including shield charge of course, and the power bash perks with both ranks of deadly bash and the Dragon Tail. In the end, your power bashes will deal quite a lot of damage, especially with shocking strikes and Stave of Ferocity spells on you, reducing armor, magic resistance, dealing shock damage, extra physical damage, and having a 30% chance to fling enemies away if your bash interrupts their power attack. Honestly, Spell and Shield is the most underrated combat style. Change my mind? Then we want the shout enhancing perks. Speak with Animals and Beastmaster perks. In Speech, only one rank of Words of Power was taken, and we do have so many combat combos, the shouts can easily be forgotten in the late game, but in the beginning, Tonal Harmony should be unlocked as soon as you have any shout. It heals all 3 attributes when you shout, paired with the Windfall enchantment and some potions, and the rather early spell of Water Totem, it can make you quite durable quite early, especially durable for a mage. The Vazulan will sometimes remove your entire cooldown right after shouting. I like to have the Cyclone shout ready at all times, well, most times, just in case the Vazulan triggers. Cyclone combines insanely well, of course, with all the other effects that can send your enemies flying as described in the beginning of the video. And we still have some perk points left, believe it or not, to grab the Benefactor in Alchemy. Pity we can't take some more advanced perks like Stimulants, but at least our potion production output will be greatly increased with the Druid Craft spell, which turns corpses into useful plants and mushrooms, and whatever you need for potions, just make sure to turn into a bear and feed on those corpses before you convert them into ingredients, otherwise, you know, you will be wasting your werewolf werebear perk progress. And in enchanting we take the shortest road to extra effect. Yes, we do that. The build is way too fun with double enchantments. He said doo-doo. Oh, and for the Werebeast perks, you will probably get all of them over time with how useful the beast form can be with Growl, but prioritize the lycanthropic regeneration perk. It works in and out of the beast form, regenerating your health and stamina a bit more, which, as mentioned, is a pretty big deal for the build, especially before the final double enchanted gear is ready. Speaking of which, here is the list of items and effects for the ultimate loadout. We have the Shield Staff of Resonance, then all the self-enchanted items, Fortify Magicka and Deadly Reach on the gloves, Amplify Alteration and Amplify Restoration on the necklace, Fortify Destruction and Link Health and Magicka on the ring, Windfall and Rollback, yes, on the boots, Fortify Destruction and Amplify Destruction on the cape, Amplify Destruction and Amplify Alteration on the robes. A blank shield staff can be crafted at any forge once you have 30 in enchanting skill. You can then take it to a staff enchanter to create a Shield Staff of Resonance. It will, as all shield staves, grant you a ward whenever you raise block. It also grants you 20% magic resistance enhanced with your Amplify Restoration, actually, to stack with alteration perks, and improves all your destruction and conjuration spells by 20%. Destruction spells deal more damage, so that's, well, 20 plus 25 from Sorcerer's Robes, that's already 45% more damage for each distraction spell. And conjuration spells last for longer. The boots deserve some special attention. Windfall enchantment has a small chance to heal all your attributes every 3 seconds by nearly 120 points in our case, with an enchanter's elixir and all enchanting perks. This is on top of the ample regenerations provided by Water Totem, Pride of Hirstang, lycanthropic regeneration, and possibly some potions and food. Meanwhile, Rollback will move you around the battlefield extremely fast and easily, confusing your enemies and allowing you to keep your distance, if that's your chosen strategy. With the Earth Totem and Whirlwind Cloak flinging enemies away from you, shock spells lifting them into the air, one word of Cyclone flinging them away, shield charge, and this little Summermyst miracle of rollback enchantment, it is going to be nearly impossible to reach you and hit you in melee. Of course, you can still make it even harder with all the allies between you and enemies, or simply by a well-placed paralysis rune and or impenetrable grove. Fire dragons and fire spell users may occasionally pose a threat, which I think is okay. We have to have some little weaknesses to keep things interesting. If you don't want that, replace one Amplify Alteration with fire resistance. Remember to keep your stuff up against wizards in general, that is going to be rather important. Before you can craft those OP items, it is actually quite enough to have some magic resistance and a few instances of Fortify Magicka in the early game, and open every combat with the Water Totem. It's that one totem that heals you over time when you stay close to it. With a shield staff and even the most basic distraction spell in your right hand, you should do quite well and feel quite powerful pretty early in the game. Once you have the Ritual Stone active, a simple novice level familiar will increase your Magicka regeneration in Odin while providing some distraction as usual. Here is the list of frequently used spells for the finished build. All of this insanity, this ungodly motherload of synergy has already been described, so no point in repeating myself. Resist elements is nice to have against other wizards. For the shouts, we have a few nature-themed ones: Animal Allegiance, Stormcall, Cyclone, and occasionally Aura Whisper. You see, with all the possible techniques and tactical choices, knowing what to expect in the next room may be quite essential. It's a rather tactical build. Planning your actions ahead of time is a good idea. Alright, this was marginally less difficult to explain than I feared. I'm sure there's more to add, more combos to explore, and of course some sweet alchemy recipes, especially with that Druid craft spell having a steady influx of Fortify Destruction, Fortify Alteration and Fortify Restoration potions is going to be super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
I think, however, I already overwhelmed you with information, especially if you are not that familiar with all the mods I used. Oh, this video must have been a nightmare to watch if you've never played with those mods. I'm so sorry. Next time, a vanilla build, no crafting build, a vanilla no crafting build. We swears on the precious. For now, I am done here. Be a nice person, leave me a like and a comment, and consider maybe some support via Subscribestar or the super thanks feature, but most importantly, have fun. We will see each other again. Bye bye. He said doo-doo. Oh, and for the werbeast perks. What a moron, Jesus Christ. Oh, and for the werbeast perk.